I know what you're thinking, but hear me out, okay? Here we go again, dear stranger online. I'm Cecily, and maybe I'm too woke, but I'm also Chikorita's strongest soldier. And this one is a quickie because I'm currently working on a few other scripts and my video for Pokemon Worlds 2025, which I'm really excited about, but due to popular demand, I wanted to share my thoughts about the latest hot topic of the week. We had a new gorgeous Legends ZA trailer this week with some really exciting announcements, the most important of them being the extensive outfit selection in this game. And also, Mega Dragonite was revealed and the internet was super normal about it. It broke out of the Pokemon bubble, brands were talking about it, Anthony Fantano got rage-shot by Moxie boosted, chaos ensued. We had incredible takes about this new form as well as, well, opinions. And subscribers of this channel started to send me a lot of comments from a lot of places that suggested that this could be a Chikorita 2.0 situation. We got comments that read, "Only the gays and girls like this trash design, which aren't the majority of Pokemon players." Pokemon is a dead franchise to me. Anyone defending this is lots of ableist slurs. Don't you dare play victim either. I'm calling a spade a spade. I didn't get that. No bro, we were hoping for something epic and awesome and we got a cutesy critter. It's okay, but not to the taste of the masculine crowd. The masculine crowd? And honestly, to me, these are more than anything proof of how toxic these debates online have become and evidence that we should all cut our screen times by a lot and take political action against these billionaires that are socially engineering every single online space into a Jubilee episode. But there's no denying, there is at least a little bit of misogyny in the backlash to Dragonite. But not only. People are, yes, mad because they expected badass masculinity and got softness instead, which sometimes reveals gendered bias, but mostly shows that they don't understand Dragonite's and Pokemon's design philosophy. So today we'll talk about Korean Imugi mythology and read Ken Sugimori interviews. Today, I wanted to dive deep with you on the design of this Mega, why the damn wings are on its damn head instead of its back, why did the designers choose to make it so awkward, and if this shape is even aerodynamic enough so that Dragonite keeps its job as Mr. Postman. In my video about Chikorita, I argued that the 20-year-old hate for it came from a 20-year-old toxic gamer culture. From the fact that Chikorita debuted in a phase where the Pokemon games were starting to be marketed at girls. And Chikorita was supposedly the choice for the girls. I'm doing air quotes, okay? It's funny to see that this marketing choice still stands somehow, as whenever we see the player character doing the most girly coded action in the game, outfit shopping, Chikorita is always there. And some people didn't take my last video really well, and there were some harsh reactions. And I just want to reinforce that also about Dragonite, we are not talking individually about you watching, dear stranger online. We are analyzing structures, not individuals. I mean, it's mob mentality. It's never the fault of any single person. You can have whichever personal opinion you want, but once a lot of people have such strong reactions to something, you can't help but ask why. But then again, while I think Dragonite's story rhymes to Chikorita's, it's definitely not the same. I think there is some misogyny, as proved by these comments here, and it's true. Every single review is the same story, and some really loud bros will always react this way to softer Pokemon. But that doesn't tell the bigger part of the story. I would argue that most of the Dragonite backlash comes from misunderstanding what Mega Evolution is and who Dragonite is, the folklore inspirations and design foundations upon which this Pokemon was built. My friend Kaká made an incredible video yesterday about Dragonite, and I'm sorry for you all who don't speak Portuguese because you are unfortunately locked out of the lore treasure that is Kaká's channel. But there he spoke a lot about its creation and it's really fascinating. Basically, in Gen 1 there are 3 thematic dragons. I know only the Dragonite line are actual dragon types, but funnily enough, 3 Pokemon make it to Lance's team. And that's solely because they have different dragons as their core design inspiration. Charizard draws from Western dragons, Gyarados from Chinese dragons, and Dragonite from Korean dragons, especially the myth of the Imugi. An Imugi is a giant sea serpent from Korean mythology. it isn't quite a dragon yet. According to legend, if an Imugi captures a sacred jade orb that fell from the heavens, it will finally ascend and become a true dragon. But it could wait for centuries until that happens. But it persists. The Imugi is seen as a symbol of hope, patience, and transformation. This elegant snake is Dragonair, with its 2 orbs attached to its neck and tail, representing the jade. When it evolves, after patiently waiting 55 levels, it gets rewarded. With time, bodies always change. Maybe the idealized beauty that the serpent once had in its youth has now marks of time. As my friend Ant put it, Dragonair's body changed like someone who was a diva in high school, settling into a comfortable office job. It absorbs the jade color to become Dragonite, softer, bigger, and more powerful. According to Pokédex entries, Dragonite is not only extremely fast, but it has a close relationship to the winds and the sea. Where did I hear that before? Helping people and mostly rescuing sailors in shipwrecks. In Korean folklore, that's a young, an ascended dragon, born of the Imugi struggle, keeper of the skies and seas. They are seafaring protectors of Korea, often considered bringers of rain and clouds. Masters of the wind. Young doesn't need wings to fly, and neither does Dragonite. Its newfound mastery over the winds is represented by its acquisition of the flying type, a mystical control granted by the jade. Its tiny wings are there just to make it goofier. Dragonite flies as fast as it does because of the jade ascension, learning extreme speed and becoming the guardian of the sky. It is here to protect, help sailors, and be a friend. And friends don't need to look elegant, friends need to be friend-shaped. That's the design foundation of Dragonite, and Mega Dragonite is here to bring back aspects of its gone past. The jade returns, glowing on its tail, a mythological callback. The body can never return to what it was before, but the wings that were once on Dragonair's head sprout back. Mega Dragonite is the culmination of all the design choices for both Pokemon. But again, Dragonite doesn't need wings to fly. According to the newest Pokédex entries, Mega Dragonite has distinctive Dragonair-like features, such as the pearl on its tail and wings on its head that act as feelers. Thanks to Mega Evolution, Dragonite can now fly faster and further than ever before. Let's remember here, feelers are like antennae, they are used to perceive surroundings. You see them in insects, fish, and Dragonite. In the context of Mega Dragonite, it means that those wing-like structures on Dragonite's head aren't used to fly, they serve as sensory tools, linked to emotional or environmental awareness, to sense danger. The head wings are feelers, they are meant to protect, to feel, like a guardian angel. For Mega Dragonite, ending a Pokemon match quickly is an act of kindness towards his opponent. Its kind-hearted nature gets amplified when it Mega evolves, and it launches powerful attacks at its opponent with a smile. At the same time, if it senses someone in trouble, it has the kindness to instantly rush to their aid, even if it's in the middle of an intense battle. A lot of people say that the fanarts did a better job of imagining Mega Dragonite. Fanarts where the Pokemon is imagined as a gracious, epic, noble knight, but that's a little bit of a misunderstanding of which Pokemon Dragonite and Mega Dragonite are. Dragonite is kind, Dragonite is mailman, Dragonite is Hermes. If even after all this you still think that the feathers should be pointier or the wings should be in the backs because it would look better, let me tell you something else. Pokemon are always supposed to look a little bit weird. That's the core design philosophy before every one of them and what differentiates them from other characters in other series. They need to have something a little bit off about them. And it's not me saying that, it's original Pokemon art director Ken Sugimori. Ken believes that there should always be something in a Pokemon design to make it off balance. Character designs that deliberately include elements that catch people's attention. In an interview about Sun and Moon, Ken said, "The technique I often use when finishing up designs for Pokemon is to keep the balance. I might try adding something uncool to a Pokemon that is too cool, or I might add something cheerful to a Pokemon that is too serious. I spoke about making friendly designs earlier, but what I actually do is take something cool and make it less cool. The interviewer then says, huh? But Lucario and Luxray look very cool. And Ken, but if you were to make Luxray's head smaller and eyes sharper, it would look cooler. Making it cooler is an adjustment I wouldn't dare to do. I often tell members in charge of design to take away from designs that are too cool. To put it extremely, my job is to get something that would look cooler if it didn't have this or that on it. Then put it in on purpose. Basically, if it looks too cool, then it takes away from what makes it memorable for the players. It simply ends at, that's cool. After all, as Pokemon that are being sent out to the world, we want them to always remain memorable. However, I feel that in order to do so, you have to add a touch to it. For example, look at Oshawott cheeks. It has 3 freckles, and if you take them away, Oshawott becomes cuter. However, taking them away makes its face less memorable. Actually, a lot of people told me, I want you to get rid of the freckles, but I strongly insisted it is better to have them. Going by my standards, this is the correct way to design Pokemon. It has always been exactly this way to make the Pokemon world feel more lived in. Nature is sometimes a little bit awkward. Creatures are often a little bit awkward. The Pokemon world is the same. If you want a Dragonite that's really cool, then you probably actually want a Digimon. I think the Mega Dragonite backlash is about misunderstanding that Dragonite is a goofball. It's round and funny, and has really tiny, disproportionate wings on its back, and it's supposed to look goofy. And again, it's fine if you don't like the design. You individually don't need to like or dislike any specific Pokemon. It's all a matter of subjectivity or personal taste. But collectively, I think the reason why we are seeing millions of people and brands discussing it is because of mismatched expectations and misogyny for these few people, but then again, that also shows some kind of mismatched expectations. They were expecting a mighty, masculine, ferocious dragon. They got a friend-shaped goofball. If you personally like the execution or not, that's up for you to decide, and absolutely no judgment on that. What you shouldn't do is expect an epic design from a Pokemon that is goofy as its main thematic philosophy. That is kind, that is friend. He's not just friend, he's mega girly pop friend. And I think that this is even more important as a reminder that this is just the first Mega Evolution we have seen this far. There are likely a dozen more waiting for us in ZA, and if you are expecting all of them to look epic and cool and badass, it's better to do like Bo Burnham and lower your expectations, because it's very likely that we will see many other weird, awkward, and strange Mega Evolutions. And this is very funny because a lot of these earlier designs were also hated when they first came out, only for your nostalgia tinted glasses make you think now that they have always been the coolest thing ever. They have not. Megas have always been weird, because that's kind of how you design a Mega Pokemon. You pick one feature and you exaggerate it. The gem, the shell, the head wing of Dragonair, and you make it funny, you make it plushable, you make it memorable. And to quote Kaka here, it's really funny to see the eternal cycle, the Ouroboros of Pokemon discourse. Because I'm old. I was around when X and Y came out, and I remember the hate that was thrown on Mega Evolution. They were saying that Pokemon was trying to be Digimon now, that it was weird, and now the criticism is that the new Megas are not as cool as the old Megas. Wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey. But back to Dragonite, if you didn't like the design personally, that is okay. Every Pokemon is someone's favorite, and every single individual opinion is valid. What we try to do in this video is to look at the big picture, and try to make a more objective analysis other than whether I like it or not. I believe Mega Dragonite is a good design, because it stays faithful to the design foundations of this 30-year-old friend. But circling back to the initial hook of this video, other than the unsufferable messages that have been sent my way, could the Mega Dragonite backlash really be, a little bit, rooted in misogyny? I personally don't think the majority of it is ill intent. It's mainly about mismatched expectations. But the Pokemon community does have a history of reacting like this, because their original expectations is often edgy, cool, masculine designs. And again, not everything is made for us, and that's fine. But please feel free to drop a comment below telling me what you think. As always, staying civil because we are all real people behind these monitors. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to help me sail the deep and treacherous waters of the YouTube algorithm. And stay tuned because Pokémon Worlds 2025 is coming very soon, and so is my next video. I interviewed 3 incredible players from Latin America who might just win the World Championships this year, and I will tell a little bit about their stories, who they are, and why competing in this type of events is especially difficult for people who come from the Global South. Looking forward to seeing you there.